For all you people that are on NBA Twitter, have you ever been just sitting there one day doom scrolling and you just see the most outrageous, dumbest, most controversial take you've ever seen in the form of a tweet that makes you sit there and just be dumbfounded that someone could possibly conjure that up in their head, type it out on their phone, and hit that post button? But we're going to be reacting to tweets like that with a little twist. I wrote those tweets. So I know I'm kind of new to this whole YouTube thing. You guys probably don't really know me much. And so I thought the best way for you to get to know me is to get a nice up close personal look with my inner monologue, my inner thoughts, whatever's going on up here through my NBA tweets. So I've had this burner Twitter account for a couple years now where I would tweet just whatever came to my head about the NBA. Some of it was during games, some of it was just randomly throughout the day. Basically any dumb lizard brain thought about the NBA that popped into my head, I had to fire off a tweet about it. Some of these takes are really crazy. Some of them are just troll, funny tweets. Some of these were tweeted while under the influence of certain substances. So I just kind of want to go through these, react to them, maybe give more context or insight about what the heck was going on in my head when I made some of these tweets. And maybe for some of these, I'll double down on these crazy takes and I'll say, you know what? I do believe in that. I 100% support what I said in the moment. And so hopefully by the end of this, you guys will also kind of get a sense of what the heck is going on in my head when it comes to the NBA. So let's just get started. Here we go. We'll start off with a light one. It's crazy because every Anthony Edwards edit I see makes me want to be a fan of him, but I really just don't like how he plays. And I stand by that. I don't like how Anthony Edwards plays. He is one of the most athletic dudes in the league, and he resorted to so much three-point shot chucking this last year, and it's really just ugly basketball to me. If you know me, I am 100% supporter of the ethical hooper, and a guy who's athletic like that, who just settles at the three-point line too much, is just so unethical to me, and I can't get behind it. You will learn that my fandom for players does get swayed if I see a good edit of them on Twitter or TikTok. I could hate them one day, and then I see a sick edit that somebody made, and next thing you know, I'm like, no, I'm actually a fan of that guy. And if you don't believe me, here's a tweet like 2 weeks before that where I said, I was going into tonight thinking no way the Wolves are winning, but I just saw an Anthony Edwards edit, and now I'm thinking they're going to win. Here's one I made at the end of probably a clutch game that I was watching. How do these players get a wide open three in these clutch moments and not their pants? If that's me, I'm bobbling that and then pooping my shorts. Obviously, you can see the clutch gene did not get passed down to me. Holy moly, I complain about the refs a lot on Twitter. I just saw like 7 tweets in a row where I was complaining about the refs of a game. Dude, some of these are so brain rot. Like this one is just, TJ McConnell just runs around the court full speed 100% of the time and it just works. And then, and then 2 tweets below that, I have Stan Van Gundy on Ozempic. Stan, I support you in your weight loss journey, no matter the way that you lose the weight. Oh, here's a good one. So this was in the first round of the playoffs when the Lakers were playing the Timberwolves, and I tweeted, gonna be so funny when the Lakers lose because they are all gassed because it's Luka, Bron, and a bunch of scrubs. And the first thing I'm gonna see on my timeline is Reeves, Rui, Vando, and 3 first-round picks for Giannis will be unstoppable. Lakers need to learn that depth is more important than stats. I might make a more fleshed out video on this, but I think some NBA teams and NBA fan bases are way too obsessed with creating super teams still and star hunting. I think star hunting is what got the Lakers in as bad of a situation as they're in right now, where they have Luka and LeBron, and I guess maybe Reeves, even though he's pretty unreliable, inconsistent, and then a bunch of just like vet minimum players that come off their bench, and that's why they can't get over the hump every year. And then every year in the offseason, I see fans on Twitter being like, Lakers need to go get Trae Young. Lakers need to go get Giannis. Lakers should trade for Jokic. And it's like, guys, the stars aren't the answer. It's because you're running with Luka and LeBron and then a bunch of dudes that you pulled from the 24/7 Fitness down the street. You need role players and bench players in order to be a championship caliber team, and you just don't have that. And going to trade for an even bigger star is not going to fix that. Oh, here's a good one that I had. This was in reaction to a podcast clip that I saw where they were wondering if the Pistons needed to add a superstar in the offseason like Zion or Devin Booker. And I said, Zion does not have the Detroit grit mentality to survive and flourish on this squad. Unfortunately, Pistons have to be very selective on who they add to this team because it's not about talent anymore. It's about mindset when it comes to evaluating who is a good addition now. I don't think that only relates to the Pistons. I think that relates to a lot of NBA teams. I think team chemistry, teammate chemistry matters a lot more than people think. A lot of people just look at who has better stats. Let's go pick up guys who have better stats. But when you look at a team like the Pistons, for example, just because that's what the tweet was about, they've built a pretty gritty mentality, a pretty in-your-face, we're not going to back down to anybody. If you were to add a guy like Zion, who, yes, puts up good stats when he's healthy, but does he really fit like that Detroit mentality that like Beef Stew or Ron Holland has? I don't really see it. And so I personally didn't think that that was a good move. And I'm kind of glad that the Pistons didn't go out and trade for Zion in this offseason. Here's a quote retweet to a Cade Cunningham interview clip. Cade, I'm going to be there and I want a piece of that ass after the game. A completely normal and justified response to that tweet, in my opinion, honestly. Here's a good one. Here's a good one. Adam Silver says the NBA made adjustments last year to limit players from hunting for fouls. And then I quote retweeted it and said, me when I lie. And it's just a screenshot of Adam Silver in the interview. I love the NBA. I will always love the NBA. I've been watching it too long to ever just give up on it. But the amount of foul baiting in the NBA is actually ridiculous. That's why I had so much fun when the Olympics were on, because they play with a different rule set where you can't get away with foul baiting. And that was some of the best basketball I think I've ever watched in my life. I was glued to my TV every single game. And then you see guys in the league, I'm not going to name names, Jalen Brunson, who played the Pistons in the playoffs, and I had to watch multiple horrible games just watching him jump into guys and then chuck up some BS and get a foul call every time. I think if there was one thing that I could change about the NBA right now, it would be to implement the FIBA Olympic rules or bring the refs over from the FIBA basketball leagues to ref the NBA. I think you would just get a way better product, in my opinion. How can a dude who looks as gooby as Luke Cornett be actually good at basketball? Makes no sense at all. Oh, man. Hey, Luke Cornett's a baller, dude. He just is a gooby looking guy. He does not look like he would be in the NBA. He looks like he'd be like selling me insurance or something. But hey, man, he's a fellow white boy. So I gotta support him. And I actually think he's gonna be pretty good on the Spurs this year alongside Wemby. I think them together in tandem when they're out on the floor, I think that's going to be a dangerous lineup. Doesn't change the fact that he does look gooby. Here's one that I didn't tweet, but I did I did react to it. I'm disappointed and disgusted at this country right now, but my hate will turn to Paul George tonight when the ball is checked. I live for Paul George slander, by the way. Do not like Paul George at all. This one's good. Miles McBride is weird because he's a player where no matter how good he gets, I will just never think he's a good player. I don't know why. I just don't think he's good, and no one can change my mind. Do you guys ever have players like that where you just, no matter how good they get or how good they play, you're just always like, no, not a good player. Don't like them at all. Will never like them. And that's just how it is. I guess Miles McBride is one of those players for me. Ooh, here we go. Here's a good one. So NBA Central tweeted, Drew Holiday names his 3 hardest players to defend: Kobe Bryant, Derrick Rose, Kemba Walker. Now, if you don't know, Kemba Walker is my favorite NBA player of all time. I was a fan of him all the way back to his final season at UConn, where he led that team to the national championship. And I said, when it came to the skill set of a single player, Kemba had a deeper bag and better prime than Kyrie, and I will take that to my grave. Put Kemba on that Cavs team with Bron, and they are even better than they already were. And I 100% agree with that. I think Kemba Walker had a better prime than Kyrie Irving, but unfortunately he just rotted away on those horrible Charlotte Hornet teams year after year, with MJ not getting him any help, and his prime was wasted, and he's not looked at as good of a player as he once was. I know there's a lot of Kyrie fans out there, and I'm not saying Kyrie is like a horrible player, but I genuinely think Kemba Walker, skill set and bag wise, had a better prime than Kyrie. And if he was on the Cavs with LeBron, they would have been even better than they were. All right, I think that's a nice one to end it on. End the video with a super controversial one. But yeah, if you guys made it to the end of this video, I appreciate you guys sticking around. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment, some crazy NBA takes that you have. If you want to see more content like this, make sure to subscribe. And if you guys want to see a part 2 to this video, because I have a ton more tweets that I can show. If you guys thought it was funny, if you guys liked some of the tweets, let me know down in the comments that you want a part 2, and I will definitely do a part 2 of this, because even just looking at more tweets below this one, I can definitely make a second part to this video, and I do kind of want to. So yeah, but that's all I got for now, guys. As always, peace and love.